What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the WHOMEVER crew. And today I'm doing a special video that was requested by a viewer. The viewer asked what my slug gun setup is and what I use and what I like about it. So if you've been watching some of the recent hunting videos, you saw that it's gun season and I was using the guns, and I used a couple different guns. So right here is kind of the layout of the slug guns that I use depending on where I am, the application, all that. The most popular gun that I use is this gun right here. So this is a Mossberg 500 and chambered in a 20 gauge right here. This is a Federal Sabot slug. That's a Sabot right in there. That's the slug. The gun has a rifle barrel, so the Sabot travels out of it pretty quickly and actually has surprisingly good accuracy at longer ranges. Now, if you watched, I believe it was my most recent video, you saw that I did have a little bit of an incident with the gun. I went to shoot at a buck and don't know what happened, but I missed it. Well, actually, I just clipped it. And yeah, didn't get the deer, and it was frustrating. It was like a 90-yard shot. I wasn't able to get it with that gun. Well, the problem was we did not sight in the gun at the beginning of the season, so lesson learned, definitely need to do that more often. Now, one thing I want to touch on is another thing that a different viewer asked me about, and he asked me about the scope mount that is on here. This gun has a WHOMEVER scope mount. I believe that's the model, I guess, S2. As well as WHOMEVER scope rings, and it has a Simmons diamond scope, I think is what it's called on there. This scope is a real nice little shotgun scope, and it fits perfectly on this WHOMEVER scope mount. Now, the viewer asked me if you can put that scope mount on another Model 500, I believe, or another shotgun, a 12 gauge. I am not sure if you can. Right here is another shotgun. This is a Model 500 12 gauge. That's a Model 500 and this is a Model 500. Both Mossberg shotguns. So if we compare them side by side here, you can see they're very similar. The girth and width, it looks like this 12 gauge is a little wider than this gun right here. So viewer that asked if you could put that mount on the other gun, I am not sure if you can. You would have to probably try it out or ask someone who actually really does know. That 12 gauge is not tapped for a scope mount, so I can't just swap it over and sight it in and shoot it. And I'm not 100% sure if it can. The 12 gauge looks like it's a little wider, so it might not line up with the scope and everything. So if you're looking for a mount like that, I would probably look into WHOMEVER scope mounts for shotguns and see if they have different models and everything. The perk about that scope mount, though, is it does not get in the way of the iron sights, and it's super easy to take off. You just unscrew it and screw it back on. Super easy scope mount, much more easier than actually taking the scope on and off. So the final shotgun that I use is one that you've seen before, and it is a Remington 870 Express. This particular model is a Remington 870 Magnum. It is capable of shooting 2 3/4 and 3-inch shells, which we have right here, 2 3/4, as well as that, which is also 2 3/4. So out of the Remington, I shoot these light field hybrid EXP 2 3/4-inch shells. And the crazy thing about this 546 grain slugs, these things are massive, just huge dudes, and I really want to see how they compare to a 20 gauge. The other ammunition that we use is this Hornady SST shotgun slug. This one is a lot different. If you look, it says 300 grain FTX. That's a 300 grain bullet. Now the difference is that's a conical shaped bullet, like an actual rifle bullet almost, while the other one is a big hunk of lead, a Sabot slug. Two entirely different bullets, two entirely different shells, two entirely different ammunitions, but both do the same job, just in different applications. So I showed you the main two shotguns, the Remington 12 gauge and the Mossberg 520 gauge with the scope. Now, I did mention this gun. This is also a Mossberg 500, but it's a 12 gauge. The cool thing about this gun is it's a big gun, and it actually has a muzzle brake on the end of the slug barrel. So this gun is actually kind of the goose gun. It's the one that we hunt geese with. It's a big gun. It's a heavy gun. It's just a big, big gun. This handle is just big, huge handle compared to the Remington, which has a much slimmer handle, which I actually like this handle a little better. That gun right there is particularly my favorite slug gun. This is a close second because of its low recoil and the scope, and I've never used this one, but it's a backup just in case we need it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I hope that you found it helpful, and for those of you who asked questions about the scope mount and the slug gun review, thank you for those questions. I'm happy to give you my input. And with that, guys, I hope to see you in the next one, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and give it a big thumbs up if you liked it. See you in the next one.